Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, and my fellow Americans and freedom lovers everywhere across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio, somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not a big government or bust. It is Tuesday, April the 28th in the year of our Lord 2015, as we really get into the week and start moving along. Look, got a lot to cover today, but I know the main thing that is on people's minds. So let me just say this for a second. There is a lot of activity about a bunch of different topics and things going on right now. And there's a lot of, well, the reason I'm saying this is simply because if you're not following me on social media, then you need to. You need to go to Facebook, The Rod Eccles Show, like the page. Now, there's a lot going on over there. There's a lot of interaction. It is unbelievable the amount of interaction that is going on over there. It is not just me posting stuff, but it is interaction with other like-minded individuals and a few individuals who probably do not think exactly as we do, but we welcome them to the conversation because they add a little bit to it. So it's not just, we on the right, we like to allow for others' viewpoints, unlike the left. We show them up with that, how that's concerned. You're also probably going to want to follow me on Twitter, because Twitter is quicker and up to date throughout the day. I'll just post really quick stuff that I don't put over on Facebook. And so, it's at Rod Eccles over on Twitter, as well as there's Google Circles, or Google Plus, however you want to call it, LinkedIn. You're gonna want to favorite the Rod Eccles Show official website, rodeccles.net. And lots more Pinterest pages, lots more stuff will be coming. We got adding some new radio stations. That's right. This program is still reaching out in the syndication and expanding the number of stations that we're on and being broadcast from, which is a good thing. And it's all due to you, the listener. So one of the best things you can do is just go to rodeccles.net and get all the social media contact information and a bunch of other stuff, obviously. It's not just about social media, and if anybody knows anything about MySpace, could you drop me a line? Because I haven't utilized MySpace since probably, 2007-ish? 2007, 2000, I don't know. But I'm getting some stuff. Does Justin Timberlake and his brothers, do they still own MySpace. I don't know. Hey, it may be. Depending on what MySpace does and who they cater to. Well, maybe it's time to give MySpace another look. Could be. I don't know. I don't think it'll ever be like it used to be, but I think those days are gone for MySpace. But who knows? It's not that Facebook is always going to be on top. Just there's any number of other social media networks could knock them off, which would not be overly bad in a lot of people's view. But anyway, thank you for being here and listening in for this episode, wherever you're listening, whether you're listening to me live. And if you are listening live, then you can probably give us a call if you'd like to join the show at 603-835-3224. And we will attempt to put you on the air. The other thing is, well, I guess I have to wait for that a little bit. I had a major announcement, but I think I'm going to hold off until later in the week on this really good news major announcement, and as well as announcing some of the news stations. Look, if you want to find out new stations that we're on, every time we land one, we update the site, and the site will be updated by tomorrow with the additions that we have here. That's a good thing. I know a lot of people, what's on their mind right now is what's happening in Baltimore, Maryland. And look, I pretty much said what I needed to say in last night's show, but then our wonderful president, POTUS, had to go and open his big mouth today. There was no way to keep it shut on him, and frankly, he shouldn't be quiet about it, because this is a major American city near our nation's capital that's on fire. But what he's failing to realize, regardless of why these riots took place, excuse me, what he failed to realize was why they were allowed to take place, not why they took place. And folks, if if you understand what I was talking about yesterday, today it came to pass. If you understood yesterday what I was talking about, things happening that's going to limit your freedom because of this, well, it has come to pass. We've had something that's pretty much, martial law has been pretty much declared in Baltimore without martial law actually being declared. Now, I told you that this was going to happen. That it was going to be in such a manner that even the people that had nothing to do with this were going to pay the penalty and suffer the price, the penalty for just being and living in the city. So now there's a 10 o'clock curfew. Now, and I know, look, I also told you that there were going to be a lot of people, including on the right, that were going to fall in line and think, well, hell, why didn't they institute a martial law or curfew sooner? And I told you this is how it's going to happen. And every time something like this happens, this type of riot happens, for whatever reason, the government is going to respond by stripping you of your right. Look, they're going to play a professional baseball game. The Baltimore Orioles, they're going to play a professional baseball game in an empty stadium. Hello? Well, why are they going to play a game at all then? The game of professional sports is strictly, it's not for the play. It's not like back in high school or Babe Ruth or something like that, little league. It's not for the kids. It's not for the players. It's for the audience. So why are they going to play a game if nobody can see it? Are they going to try to televise an empty ball field game? I mean, that's not going to go over very well. That is going to be boring as hell. But you know what it will do? It will also reinforce in people's minds that, hey, you know what? Maybe martial law isn't so bad. Don't doubt me on this, folks. Do not doubt me. They're pushing the limit further and further and further. They're pushing the envelope. And as more and more people become accepting of it, pretty soon it's just going to happen on a whim for just about anything, and we're not going to think twice about it. So now and they're not saying how long this curfew is going to last. By the way, except for, first responders and emergency personnel, you're not supposed to be out on the street after 10 o'clock. If you are, they're going to arrest you. Ooh. Well, what led to this whole incident anyway? Negative police interaction with the public. Now they just created another fiat law that's going to cause police to interact with the public in a negative fashion, increasing the chances that somebody else is going to get hurt or harmed or even killed. And then what do you think is going to happen? Look, they're pressing this, folks. The left is pressing this hard. And so if you have a job, well, now you're pretty much unemployed for a few days. If you have a third shift job, you can't be out in the street. How are you going to get to work? Hey, Ossifer, I'm on my way to work. No, 10 o'clock curfew, and it's 11. It's almost 11. It's 10:45. Yeah, but I have an 11 o'clock. I work from 11 to 7. That's my shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. No, it is now 10:45 p.m. Curfew is 10 p.m. You're under arrest. You're not going to work. In fact, you'll probably lose your job now because you didn't make it into work. See, if you wanted to go to work at 11, you probably should have been out there, going to work at like 9. So you'd have been there. But then you'd have to sit around for an hour and a half. But so what? I'm telling you, folks, this is how it's going to work. This is what it means in real life. Now, do not get me wrong. I am not saying that you let these people get away with whatever they just got away with. Absolutely freaking not. But you put a kibosh on it, you quell it, you contain it, and then you let the rest of the city go on about their business. You don't let this expand until it gets out of hand. You don't tell the police to fall back, retreat. You don't, as a mayor, go out there and say, well, we'll let them destroy certain parts of the city. They have a right to. No, they don't. And then after you make the mistake, you don't punish an entire city by locking it down. But folks, this is exactly what they did. I told you this was going to happen. I also told you that there were going to be people, even on the right, that thought this was a good move. It's a bad move. It's a dumb move. It's a move that did not have to happen if they were on top of it to begin with. It didn't have to happen. There did not have to be a curfew tonight. There did not have to be a fiat law instituted that if you're out past 10 p.m. for whatever reason, no matter what the reason, unless you're a first responder or, I guess you're going to have a special card, you're going to be arrested. Can you say Nazi Germany? I'm serious, folks. We live in the United States of America. We're not under any sort of war statute or state of emergency. Baltimore should not be under a form of martial law because their government screwed up. Their leadership, from the mayor to the governor, screwed up. And yet the people of Baltimore have to suffer. Well, I guess they're going to have to suffer because they elected the fools in the first place. Look, this is what you get with liberalism. I told you also yesterday that liberalism, if it was ever passed, that sometimes it was going to come back and bite even the liberal in the butt. And here it is right now. Here's just one issue, one thing. It didn't take very long, did it, for me to be proven right? Unbelievable. It took me less than 24 hours to be right about everything I said about Baltimore. Less than 24 hours. Because I know these people. I know how the liberals think. And I don't have to have a third eye. I don't have to, be able to see into the future to know what's going to happen with these people. I just happen to know how they think. I know, like the back of my hand, how these people think. They never change. It's the same old crapola day in and day out because it's based on their feelings, and their feelings told them, oh, well, these people, Obama said it. Yeah, these people, they've just been pushed around so much by the popo. I mean, and they just felt the need to just act out. This was like one of those people that they were talking to and interviewing. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. They just can't take it anymore. So they're just gonna rip their own assholes apart. That's right. They're gonna tear out their own city. They're gonna shut it down because you know what? All you black-owned businesses out there, you're contributing to the man. That's right. Even though we shop at your stores and you go ahead and you employ us in your businesses and you reinvest in the community, you're still working for the man. So your store needs to be destroyed because they need to understand that we're not going to put up with any more police brutality. So we're going to go out there, we're going to destroy the city, we're going to beat up a bunch of police, we're going to get some gangs together. So the gangs can all come together for once and stop fighting each other and start fighting the cops. Oh yeah, maybe they'll put a few cops in the ground instead of cops putting a few gangbangers in the ground. Oh, that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what's going to happen. You know why? It's because it's the popo's fault and it's the Republicans' fault, even though the Democrats are the ones in office. Absolutely. I know exactly how these people think. And I'm telling you, whenever you listen to them talk, what I just said is what they say. And when I tell you they're coming after your freedom, some of you think, oh, no, that's not going to happen, Rod. That's okay. It's only this one incident. Let me tell you, it's one incident in Ferguson. It's one incident in Chicago. It's one incident in Boston. It's one incident in Detroit. Now it's one incident in here in Baltimore. How many more one incidents are we going to have? How many? Because somebody on the left doesn't want to do their job because by not doing their job, it advances their agenda, which is to screw over your liberty. Plain and simple. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. The people of Baltimore no longer live in Baltimore, Maryland, United States of America. They live in Baltimore, Maryland of the USSR. Until this, and who knows when this curfew is going to be lifted? Who knows when the liberals are going to say, well, law and order has been reestablished. Look, they've got the military patrolling the streets. They've called in the National Guard. Right now, there are a bunch of conspiracy theorists out there that are just blowing up their conspiracy websites. Because they're all about, well, the military, they're gonna deploy the military against American citizens. And we've had so many people on the right that said that would never happen. Guess what, folks? Not only has it happened before, but it's happening again. Let me remind you of the 60s and 70s. Kent State. Those students were shot by National Guardsmen. I'm just saying. I'm not predicting that this is going to be a repeat of that type of incident. But what I am saying is now, in order for the liberal Democrats to regain control of the city that they lost control of because they didn't act soon enough to gain control and keep control, they brought in the military. Now, that's part of martial law planning, folks. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just telling you the logical progression of what keeps happening in this country. And, people say, well, the police have got to stop doing this, and the police have got to stop doing that, and the police need better training. Obama's up there talking today, the police need better training, and, we're going to provide grants and money to any police department that wants to buy body cameras. Well, what the hell's a body camera? Now, understand, I am fully for police officers having a body camera on it because I think it's going to help protect them more than it's going to harm them. Just like dash cams on their vehicles. It has helped them more than it is, and it's actually, saved a few police officers' lives. So I think body cams can do the same thing. However, it's not about body cams, folks. It's not about retraining all the police officers across the country. One, it is about reducing the number of laws that we have on the books in this country, reducing stupid laws, so the cops are not forced to interact negatively so much with the population that they serve. Two, we need to actually weed out those few and rare bad officers who should not have a badge and gun. Get rid of them. It shouldn't be so hard to get rid of a bad cop and keep the good cops. It shouldn't be hard. And we should also make sure that there is less government interference in everybody's daily life so more people have more opportunity to get ahead in life. Because a lot of this crime and stuff that's committed, especially in the urban environment, is because they don't feel they have any opportunity. The only thing that they have is in order to get theirs, as they say, because, all the gangbangers, they always say, I'm going to get mines. I'm going to get mines. Well, the only way they're going to get theirs is by doing something illegal because they don't feel that they have an opportunity. And isn't a liberal all about feelings in the first place? So if these kids do not feel that they don't feel that they do not have any opportunity, well, aren't they right? Aren't they accurate? Now, of course, we on the left will say that's probably not accurate, but isn't it accurate because that's what the leftists say? Well, your feelings count. And they deal a lot with feelings. So all of these people are feeling oppressed in a liberal Democrat-run city. They're feeling oppressed. They're feeling beat down. They're feeling frustrated. They felt that they had enough, so they act out on their feelings. Isn't that what counts, according to a liberal? Yes, unless those feelings are against the liberal. Then I guess, we should probably bring in the National Guard and we should create some laws to take away your freedom. That's how liberals respond to the public's feelings. They don't give a damn about your feelings. Understand this. They do not give one single itsy bitsy damn about your feelings. I'm being blunt. Because, folks, we have got to put a stop to this crap. We've got to put a stop to these Democrats running amok, not doing their jobs. Inciting riots. They need to go to jail for that. Look, you have freedom of speech and freedom of expression, but you do not have the right to incite riots that deprive other citizens of property, of safety, of livelihood, of freedom. You don't have a right to do that. And this is exactly what that mayor of Baltimore did yesterday by saying, well, we're just going to allow them to whether she misspoke or not, she did it. And believe me, she did not misspeak. She knew exactly what she was saying. She knew exactly how she was going to say it, and that's how she said it. And she knew that she meant every single word of it. In that there was no taking it back. I haven't heard her apologize for it. All she can come out and say was that people took her words out of context. Really? I don't know. I've played that clip over and over again, and I sorry. I don't know how I could have possibly taken your words out of context, Mayor. But I haven't heard the mayor apologize. Now, if this was a Republican, man, he'd be apologizing up and down, he'd be going on an apology tour at block by block, city by city in Maryland. Oh, he'd be up at the White House kneeling before the good old potentate Obama, saying, oh, please forgive me, oh, powerful Obama. I'm sorry that I didn't really mean to say what I said. And they're going to be calling for his head anyway, if this mayor was a Republican. But no, this mayor is a Democrat, so that's okay. You know, she can go ahead and say whatever she wants because that's what she really wants, and then doesn't apologize when something goes south.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You know, folks, there is here. Look, I've got some highlights here of what's going on over there, down there in Baltimore, that you need to know about. Tonight, you know, there are thousands of cops that are gearing up to enforce the 10 p.m. curfew across Baltimore, and the fans are banned from the Orioles game tomorrow night, Wednesday night, for the first time in Major League Baseball history. And supposedly the city's bracing for more violence. So there are 2,000 National Guard's troops and 1,000 cops patrolling the city tonight. 3,000 armed men and women out there to protect the city. And they're out there to enforce the curfew, the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. And understand that this curfew is, they're going to seriously enforce it. And you better brace for it, because they're not going to allow you to break a curfew. No, they're not going to allow you. Now, the curfew is going to be in effect until May 4th or until the mayor orders otherwise. So now we have a date, but what's the date today? Today is the 28th, correct? So May 4th is next week. So in other words, they've just instituted martial law for a week in Baltimore. At least a week. May 4th is not till Monday. A week from yesterday. Just so you know. And Governor Larry Hogan spoke as sporadic acts of violence broke out between police and protesters for a second day. Demonstrators gathered at midday Tuesday near the intersection of Pennsylvania and North Avenues in Baltimore. Tonight's Baltimore Orioles game with the White Sox has been postponed for a second night in a row, and spectators have been banned from attending tomorrow night's game. Already 2,000 National Guard have been deployed to the city streets and will protect key assets tonight. The mayor's office reports that there were more than 150 vehicle fires and 19 building fires and more than 235 arrests, including 34 juveniles, as a result of last night's unrest. Now, frankly, considering that there were 150 vehicle fires, there were 19 building fires, and what, they have 7 or 8 policemen injured, so at least, or was the number closer to 15 now? In any case, you had policemen injured, and all they did was arrest 235 people. What, they don't have the capacity to handle more? Considering all the damage, all the law breaking that went on, all the looting, they could only arrest 235 people. That doesn't seem to be like you're trying to get things under control. Now, Governor Hogan has temporarily moved his office from the state capitol in Annapolis to Baltimore to deal with it. Why would the governor feel the need to move his office out of the state capitol to a city, to another city in his state? Doesn't Baltimore have a mayor? Shouldn't the mayor be the one in charge of Baltimore at the moment? And shouldn't the governor be there to back her up? No, the governor's going to Baltimore to try to take over. Look, I'm telling you, this is what you do not go to. The governor does not leave the capital, does not move his office out of his capital unless he's doing something that he thinks is really important, like taking over governance of the city of Baltimore. Now, of course, they always get to bring up that Freddie Gray, he died suffering severed spine in police custody on April 12th. Now, we still have no idea how the hell that could have possibly happened. We don't know, because these people won't let an investigation happen properly yet. It's not. I know it. Here it is, the 28th. The kid died, 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. And we don't have answers yet. So, this whole instantaneous type of stuff that America has become, we want easy, quick, instant gratification. Man, if you don't know if we think this is a crime that happened today, you better know about the whole thing tomorrow, man, and tell us everything. Everything tomorrow. This type of stuff takes time to investigate. You got to talk to people. You got to put things. You got to put things together. You got to add things up so 2 + 2 = 4. And they can't do it while they're out there trying to keep the city together and trying to keep you fools from burning it down. How are they going to be able to do that? How are they going to be able to fully investigate and find the answers, find the truth, if they're busy trying to protect the city and its law-abiding citizens from idiots like you who want to burn the city down? I'm surprised there haven't been any deaths. Look, we know that we got the Crips and the Bloods and a couple of other gangs that have put aside their differences for the next week or so, I guess, to try to bring down the police, or bring down some cops at least. I mean, this is just insanity. You got a governor that's basically moving to take over the governorship of the governance of one of his major cities in his state. You got a mayor that's out there that was saying that, we're just giving them the space so they can destroy certain parts of the city because they deserve it, because they feel so angered and disenfranchised that they need to let some of that steam off. So we're going to let them destroy parts of the city. And then you have this same mayor who's saying, well, you took my words out of context. Why are you twisting my words? Without issuing an apology for making even if we did take her words out of context, she still didn't make an apology by saying, well, I could have worded it a little bit better. I was under some stress. I apologize. The words came out wrong. We didn't even get that from her. No. We didn't get an apology. Nope. Not that I know. I haven't heard of one. I haven't heard an apology. Hey, and liberals are always talking about, well, just say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry and we'll forgive you. That's what they always say. Hey, slavery. You need to apologize for slavery. Well, I didn't own any slaves. You still need to apologize for your ancestors. Well, not all my ancestors owned slaves. I'm not sure any of my ancestors owned slaves. Well, you still got to apologize because you white. You got to apologize for all whiteys. Okay, I'm sorry. That ain't good enough. Now you're going to have to give us money. It's called reparations. Medea would say it, those respirations, you got to give us some respirations. I don't know who's going to be asking for reparations for this night. There are going to be people out there, looking for some payola. Man, you destroyed some businesses, out there. Somebody's going to be, don't doubt me, somebody's going to be suing somebody. And the taxpayer is going to be on the hook for almost all of it. Because, look, I know these people. There's going to be a liberal lawyer that comes out of the woodwork, probably from places like, I don't know if they actually come from here, but places like, the American Poverty Law Center or whatever, the ACLU, those types of groups. You're going to get lawyers that are similar to those guys coming out of the woodwork, and they're going to offer, hey, were you harmed by a police officer during the riots? I know. You were probably throwing rocks at the cop, but he pepper sprayed you one too many times, right? Right. So now we're going to sue. Don't doubt me on this, folks. It's always going to be the cop's fault. Always. It's never going to be, because, it's not a liberal thing to blame the person who you should blame. It's always somebody else's fault. It's not the criminal's fault that they committed the crime. It's somebody else's fault, usually a greedy Republican. It's not the potential, it's not the suspect's fault that the police may have, put a whooping on him. It's the policeman's fault because the police guy, he overreacted to this guy who wanted to punch him, and he pulled a knife on the cop and swung the knife at him. The cop overreacted when he tased him and then probably shot him in the leg or something. No, that's the cop's fault. If the cop wasn't bugging me, well, you were breaking the law. Well, if the man wasn't bugging me, then, that cop wouldn't have shot me. So but that cop shouldn't have been shooting me anyway. I'm just saying, it's always somebody else's fault. And of course, if the cop is actually in the wrong, it's not going to be the cop's fault either. Cop says, well, he wasn't listening to me. It doesn't matter who's ever in the wrong. It's never their fault. This is the liberal mantra. It's always somebody else's fault. If the person that gets caught doing the naughty deed, it is never the person who gets caught doing the naughty deed's fault, according to liberal. It's always somebody else's fault. So I don't care if it's a suspect. I don't care if it's a dirty cop. It's always somebody else's fault. It's never the fault or responsibility of the person who's responsible for the action in the first place. That's the liberal mantra. So you know what? I'm surprised that they haven't done it. What the cops should have done was they should have just taken out the cops that were in charge of Freddie Gray. They should have just pranced them out there and made those cops apologize. We're sorry, and all this would have blown over. This should have gone away, according to liberals. It's all they got to do. All you got to do is apologize. This all would have gone. But you know what? The cops are saying it's not our fault. And the people are saying, well, we don't care if Freddie was a criminal. It's not his fault he's a criminal. And President Obama's kind of agreeing. He says, well, this has been going on for decades, man. Decades this has been going on. And those damn greedy Republicans is basically who he was pointing the finger at, while the Prime Minister of Japan was standing next to him. I mean, did y'all see that? Here, we're preparing for the White House is preparing for a state dinner to welcome the Prime Minister of, the leader, the leader of the nation of Japan. And the president has to go on this long, nearly 10-minute diatribe of I had to, sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, but I have to answer it because this is important. This is important. I'm telling you it's important, so it's important because I said it. That's right. Now, if I say that this is important, then this is important. And those cops, just like during my first term up in Boston, they acted stupidly. So I'm sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, but this is important. I have to address this issue in my country. And since you're in my country, you're going to have to stand there and look like a fool while I answer these questions with my 5 points, because I got 5 points here. Or was it 6? I had 6 points, right? Six? Yeah, I got 5.5 points that I have to cover. And one of those points is that this has been going on for decades, and we have to do something to stop it, to stop those Republicans from making this an issue. And, that's what I said. Right. Now, if you watched it, the man paused in between one of, I think it was 0.4 and 0.5 that he was trying to make. He paused for a good 45 seconds while he was trying to think about and somebody looked at me and said, yeah, he's got to be careful what he says here, doesn't he? And I looked at him and I said, yeah. He really does. But don't worry, he's going to be the idiot that he is in this type of atmosphere while on the stump, and he's going to stick his foot in his mouth. And of course he did. Of course he did. Look, you can't change liberal, you know, they're like a tiger. You can't change a tiger stripes. You can't change a liberal stripes. Liberal is going to be a liberal. If they are dyed-in-the-wool, socialist, communist, Marxist type of liberal like Obama is, they cannot change their stripes. They're going to be that way till the day they die. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. You know, the man, you know, he was formed in the liberal womb this way. He can't help himself. Now, normally, a real leader, real president, would have briefly addressed the issue, would have said something like this: "This is very important. We need to find out more about what's going on over there, and we're able, we will give them assistance if the governor and mayor of Baltimore ask for our assistance. We'll be more than happy to give them assistance and help them out. We'll give them any kind of assistance that they need in order to bring any certain perpetrators to justice. We will handle that." All right, now I have to, as the President of the United States, I also have to, welcome our guest here this evening, from Japan, and that we're talking about some important issues between our two countries too. Does any questions on that kind of thing? No, the man just made the Japanese Prime Minister stand there looking like a toad on a stool. Whatever, a toadstool, toad on a stool, toadstool. Yeah, I'm sorry. See, I can apologize. I'm sorry. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Well, if you don't laugh sometimes at this stuff, folks, you are going to cry. But look, and you know something? I'm going to say it again. I told you this was going to happen. And that there are people out there who are accepting the consequences that are happening. They're accepting it. I don't accept it. I don't accept it simply because they caused it. The left caused it. And now they want to fix something that they broke. That doesn't make any. That's kind of like the real estate bubble and banking crisis. Yeah, the very people that caused it in the first place were the ones that were standing up saying that they were going to fix it. Well, of course they wanted to fix it because they wanted to hide all the screwing up that they did. And so now the governor's going down there into Baltimore to try to run Baltimore over the mayor, who the mayor was just acting. Look, you people of Baltimore, you elected her, so y'all need to stand up and say, yeah, it's your fault for electing this woman. It's your fault. You elected somebody this stupid. I hope you do not reelect her. Liberals, they'll look past that because they'll blame somebody else for it. They'll blame somebody else. Here's a story that I wanted to bring to you last night. Ran out of time, so I'm gonna rewind a little bit. The New York Times story. And here's how the story goes. Getting a speeding ticket is a not feel good moment for anyone, but consider this businessman. He was recently fined about $58,000, 54,024 euros for traveling a modest, if illegal, 64 miles per hour in a 50 mile per hour zone. So in other words, he was doing roughly 14 miles over the speed limit. So for a 14 mile per hour speeding ticket, he was fined $58,000, and that's not a typo. Rima Kuisla. It's Rima, R-E-I-M-A, Kuisla, K-U-I-S-L-A, a Finnish businessman from Helsinki, Finland. He is a millionaire. And in Finland, the fines for more serious speeding infractions are calculated according to one's income. The thinking here is that if it stings for the little guy, it should sting for the big guy too. So it's just now the ticket had its desired effect. Mr. Kuisla, 61, took to Facebook last month with 12 furious posts in which he included a picture of his speeding ticket and a picture of what 54,000 euros or $58,000 could buy if it were not going to the state coffers. And that's the point. It's going to the state coffers. That's the reason for it. No, I have said, well, the reason why Finland does this is because they firmly believe that, the fine should hurt. The fine should be felt financially, by the perpetrator. And, a $100 fine to a rich person is that, they spend more on dinner. Right? They probably spend more on flowers every week. So we're going to make it hurt. So they have a sliding income scale of, for speeding ticket fines. If you're a millionaire, you're going to pay $58,000. And look, we might be laughing about this right here now, right now. But look, we're not too far from that because we already have sliding income scales for hey, if you want to rent a place to live, I know there are quite a few places around, where I am. In New Hampshire, in certain cities in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, that is on a sliding scale. So in other words, if you earn $30,000 a year, then your rent might be $700 a month. But if you earn $40,000 a year, then your rent's going to be $900. And if you earn $50,000 a year, well, your rent's going to be over $1,000. So in other words, we're already starting to experience that the more you earn, we still have to make it hurt for you. Because you can afford it. Isn't that what liberals always say? Well, they can afford it. You can afford to pay more. Well, just because I can afford to pay more than somebody else, why should I be forced to? That's not equality. Well, yeah, it is, right, because it's not fair. No, it is. You're right. It's not fair that somebody who earns $20,000 cannot rent a $2,000 a month apartment. No, it's not fair. But nobody said that life was fair. You cannot make it fair for this person without making it unfair to somebody else. So the person who earns $60,000 a year has worked their butt off. Maybe they went to college and studied their butt off, got top grades, got a good job. They worked their butt off in the job, and now they're actually able, after a lot of years, a lot of hard work, they're able to afford this $2,000 a month apartment that they really love and really want. And in comes this person earning $20,000 a year because they work at McDonald's and they work at CVS. And they didn't bother going, they dropped out of school and they're just hanging out. And now they waltz in and they can get this $2,000 apartment for like $500 a month because of the sliding scale. Now, who's that being fair to? There's no such thing as fairness when it comes to finances. There's not. There's only fairness in the law, but fairness in the law also means that you treat everybody equally, and that is not treating everybody equally. That's saying, well, some people are more equal than others. Remember when I told you that yesterday and last week? Animal Farm. Some people are more equal than others. So this guy is more equal than many other people in Finland, so in order to make it hurt, he's going to have to pay a lot. And some people might think that this is something new. Well, this is not new. We're already doing stuff like this in this country. But we just don't. We're accepting it. We're beginning to accept it. And you know what comes next? Well, you think, well, that's a good thing, Rod. This person, they get to experience in a good neighborhood and a good apartment building with good neighbors and all that kind of stuff. And they get to see how they're supposed to act, Rod, and how to be human and how to be, how to be a good neighbor and all this kind of, they get to see the upper crust and and it'll rub off on them. They'll want to be that way. But at the same time, they're conditioning you to accept such crap. So when the time comes, they can also decide to put penalties on a sliding scale, much like Finland. Oh, yeah. If you think that, putting somebody else in a sliding scale apartment is the end-all, be-all of the liberal agenda, look, they hate rich people, except, other liberal rich people. but especially Republican rich people and conservative rich people, and they want to take their money. Plain and simple. Yeah, don't doubt me, folks. Never doubt me.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven ultra-lipo-stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on ultra-lipo-stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using ultra-lipo-stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra-lipo-stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used ultra-lipo-stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra-lipo-stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra-lipo-stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, there's one of the things that happened that was a good thing during the Baltimore riots. You probably, if you haven't seen the video, I'm going to post the video of the mom going after one of her little chillin' at the riots. Yeah, she's now America's most famous mom right now. She's a black mom. I think the information I saw on her, she's a mother of 6. Or could be 4, I don't know. I think I saw 6. But evidently, she was watching the riots on her television at home, and she happened to notice a particular person in the crowd as one of her children, one of her sons. And all I could think of is when this mom saw that, is that, kind of like Medea. Medea would say, hey, is that Junior? Is that Junior? Oh, hell no. That better not be Junior. And then go storming down to where the scene of where this kid is at. He's in a mask and a hoodie and everything. And mom just lays it on him, beats it. What the pip upside the head? You better get your butt home, boy. And she just drags him off and beats him away. And everybody's like clapping, yay, way to go, mom. Because she's probably saying, I ain't having none of that. No way. Kind of like, one thing I learned early is you don't tick off a black woman. Honey. No. There are two ethnic women you do not want to piss off. And they're both brown skinned. You don't want to piss off a black woman, and you do not want to piss off a Latino woman. Now, some people, Rod, that is racist. No, look, it's just culture. It's the culture. They grew up not taking that, that kind of crap usually. And they like to get their pound of flesh in return. But this mom was out there, and I'm surprised the mom wasn't brought up on charges. I really am. I'm surprised the mom is not being brought up on child abuse charge. Yeah, she's abusing that child. Well, that kid is out there causing all sorts of mayhem and trouble. And who knows, maybe if he isn't reined in right now, he could be another Freddie Gray. Dead. Because he's out there committing crimes and stuff that he shouldn't be doing. Just saying. More power to that mom. Really. But, it ain't over yet, though. I'm sure that, the Maryland, whatever Maryland Department of Children Services, whatever, their version of the DCS, I am sure they'll be paying a visit to that mom sometime in the near future after all this dies down. I would not be surprised. Look, folks, don't doubt me on it. I'm telling you. These people, they're shameless and they don't care until they get their way. Hey, Obama-backed green energy is going to leave the taxpayer with about a $2.2 billion. No, I tell you this all the time. We constantly hear the left talk about, subsidies to big oil and big energy, other big energy companies. They're getting tax breaks and tax credits and subsidies and all that kind of stuff. Why do they get subsidies? Why don't we give the subsidies to these alternative energy companies? Look, nearly $1 billion in loans have already defaulted under the Energy Department program, which included the infamous Solyndra stimulus projects and dozens of other green technology programs the Obama administration has approved, totaling nearly $30 billion in taxpayer backing. So we are spending a ton of money on so-called alternative energy companies, and most of them are going out of business, leaving the taxpayer with the bill. And, it's not really funny, but it is, because these liberals are so idiotic, they do not realize what they're talking about. It's not even they don't realize. They just don't know what the hell they're talking about. They really don't. They don't know. And they keep going out there trying to spin things and spit out this stupid false information. And, it's not the truth. Sorry, it's not the truth. Anyway, sorry about that. Hello, my fellow Americans and freedom lovers everywhere across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio once again, somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Tuesday. We're in hour number 2 of the Rod Eccles Show here this Tuesday, April the 28th in the year of our Lord, 2015. The number that you can call this evening, and we will try to put you on the air if you wish to join me live, ask me a question or what have you, is 603-835-3224. It's a toll-free number, by the way, for most calling plans. You won't be charged. Now, if you're calling from overseas, I don't know. If you're listening in Australia, I don't know if it's a toll-free call. If you're calling from Israel, I don't know. If you're calling from Great Britain, or anywhere in England or Ireland or Scotland, I don't know if it's a toll-free call. But anywhere in the U.S., you could even be calling from Canada, and it might be a toll-free call. So give it a shot if you want. So Obama is he's all of his policy, everything that this guy has been the most successful president at implementing his agenda in the history of the 44 presidents of this country, probably. Definitely since the most successful president in the last 50, 60, 70 years in implementing his agenda. I mean, I don't even think Franklin Roosevelt, FDR, really by comparison was as successful. Although, the FDR got Social Security, but Obama got Obamacare. FDR didn't totally take over the retirement system in this country, but Obama pretty much took over the entire medical care industry in this country. So I think he's even more successful at implementing his agenda than FDR. But none of his policies are working or have worked. Can somebody name me something that works unequivocally, that almost everybody agrees works. And don't dare try to tell me it's Obamacare, because we know it's an abysmal failure. The polls, even from the left-leaning organizations that do polls, tell us and show us that Americans do not like it, do not want it, and want it repealed. That's not a success. So you can't say Obamacare. That's already been nixed. So you got his foreign policy is not. Speaking of foreign policy, there's a couple of fires going on out there that you probably haven't heard of. Well, you probably know about the Iranians board a Marshall Islands flagged cargo ship. And the information is still kind of sketchy that I can see. I mean, there isn't still a lot of info going on or coming out about it yet. We don't know all the details, but evidently, them are Iranians. They out in the pretty much international waters. I guess they decided that they were going to. I don't know the reason why. We're not told the reason why that they boarded the ship. We're not told why they decided to take hold or target the Marshall Island ship. We're not told yet why, what the cargo may have been. Maybe the Iranians knew something, then they didn't like the cargo or something. I don't know. Highly possible. It is highly possible. We just don't know yet. I'm sure that the information will be coming out. Even though Obama's probably going to have to, explain the $2.2 billion hole that's for failed energy policy. But until then, we won't. I guess that'll be more important, and it probably should be more important than what Marshall Islands are doing or saying about this incident. And the other thing is that Finland. Speaking of Finland is back in the news again. Fires on a suspected Russian submarine in waters off of Helsinki. Yes. So I wonder what Obama's going to do about Putin now. He doesn't seem to want to rein in. Putin is, he's pushing the limits all over the globe at the moment. He's pushing everything. It is what it is over there in Finland, and Putin is, Putin. Putin is what Putin is, and Putin does what Putin does. If you want to put it that way. And here's something also that I wanted to bring to you, but it's kind of shocking, but if you really think about it, the way things are going right now, and it kind of dovetails with another story that I wanted to bring you. And in this particular case, this is from the Washington Times. And Idaho City's ordinance tells pastors to marry gays or go to jail. Yes, well, I kid you not. Well-wishers yell encouragement to some same-sex couples as they make their way out of the Ada County Courthouse after they received their marriage licenses back in 2014. But now these pastors are told that they're going to, because they were standing up against the whole notion of not allowing or performing gay or same-sex weddings ceremonies, because it was against their truly deep-felt, heartfelt religious beliefs. And now it's pretty much a city is a state basically is telling people in Boise, Idaho, that pastors are going, look, if you do not do what we tell you to do. And again, I thought we lived in the United States of America, but if these pastors do not, they're ordered basically to go against their own personal beliefs. And if you do not do what we tell you to do, oh, stupid pastors, because you have to let go of this notion that, you have this right to stand against gay marriage. You don't have the right to stand against gay marriage because we won't let you have the right to stand against gay marriage because we want to promote gay marriage. And it's mandatory now. It's not, even in this day and age, I don't think it's going to stand up in a court of law. And trust me, these pastors are not going to stand for this. Most of them won't. Some of them will probably capitulate, and they'll give in, but most of them will not. And this is going to end up in the courts again. Our Supreme Court, speaking of Supreme Court, our Supreme Court is really going to have to weigh in on this because to threaten a man of the cloth, are they going to throw an imam, an Islamic imam, in jail because they won't perform same-sex weddings? I'd like to see them try doing that. I really would, because, if there is any religion that is the most adamant against same-sex anything, it's Islam. If you're even suspected of being gay, they will hang you or behead you. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, or if you're a boy or a girl. If you're a teenager, that doesn't count. Age does not count with them. But it's Christians get the bad rap for being anti-gay. But you know what? Christians just say they want you to turn away from what they believe to be a sin and embrace God. And for whatever reason, I guess that just has the left all up in a tizzy. But hey, go ahead and behead one or hang one, and that seems to be okay. But it's going to take a number of Supreme Court decisions in order to set this whole same-sex marriage issue straight. But Scalia today, because the Supreme Court is hearing the historic case on same-sex nuptials, Scalia is asking, why no ancient Greek gay marriages? Now, he brings up a very, very good point, because, we're told that, homosexuality and everything, it was very open and accepted, in ancient Greece and Rome. And we're supposed to, in ancient Rome, we're supposed to be much more enlightened, although we are descended from those nations throughout history, but we're supposed to be more enlightened than they are. Well, hey, they didn't have same-sex marriage. And again, basically the Scalia is asking, really? Because some people believe that gay marriage is an abomination in the eyes of God. Now, Justice Scalia quipped during the proceedings today, after a man actually shouted that in the courtroom during the proceedings, gay marriage is an abomination in the eyes of God. Justice Antonin Scalia quipped, that was refreshing, actually, causing loud laughter to ripple through the courtroom. However, Scalia's approval of ancient wisdom echoed his previous referral to the ancient Greeks and Romans to argue against government sanctioning of same-sex marriage. And the justice noted that the Greeks and Romans had no moral disapproval of homosexual relations, yet neither culture ever considered approving same-sex marriage. The implication was that those cultures must have found it would cause some sort of harm to society. Now, I did a little bit of investigation because I like history. And I got to tell you, he's right on the money. Especially, well, you can say what you want about ancient Rome. I know they probably, there was a lot of hypocritical stuff going on in ancient Rome. They wouldn't allow same-sex marriage, but they would have orgies that would include married couples and same-sex couples, and just having themselves a good old time. Basically, Romans invented the orgy, but they didn't allow a man to marry more than one wife. They didn't allow same-sex unions like that, marriage. They didn't. It wasn't marriage. You could have your lover. You could have you could have your affair, your mistress, or your mister. I don't know. Mistress is having a female lover on the slide. Well, what do you call a male lover on the sly? I didn't look that up. But in any case, they didn't have it. Ancient Greek, when it was ancient Greeks would actually even to some degree allowed for pedophilia, which is people who are like members of NAMBLA, they always bring that up. Hey, the Greeks had pedophilia. Why can't we? But they still didn't allow marriage. Well, they didn't allow marriage, same-sex marriage, because they felt that there was a way to perpetuate the culture. And in order to perpetuate the culture and bring up their children, the young people, into being adults that would contribute to the culture and thus continue the type of culture that they had, was through a mom and a dad. One mom, one dad. Not two daddies, not two mommies. And it's the same with ancient Rome. There was this, even though they had their very debaucherous types of acceptable behavior, when it actually came down to actually holding up certain purviews of society, they stuck steadfastly to what marriage really was. I'm just saying, folks. So Justice Antonin Scalia, he may get hissed and everything about, well, how dare he bring up such historical fact? Yeah, well, he did. He has every right to ask that question, because I bet you a lot of these, so-called gay activists, they have no clue, because they're only out there trying to foist their beliefs on the rest of us, force us to believe the way they believe. And the funny thing is that many of their own brothers and sisters, if you will, don't agree with them. There are many gay and lesbians out there who do not believe in same-sex marriage. For various reasons. It's up to them to decide, why they do or don't. But they don't. And that they're actually, I think I've listed it before, but there are actually websites out there owned by gay people that are against gay marriage, but you don't hear about those. You don't hear about gays who are standing up for the traditional sense of marriage. And a lot of them think, this is supposed to be an alternative lifestyle. Isn't that what, we're told, being gay is an alternative lifestyle. So if we're supposed to be alternative, why would we want to do exactly the same thing as a standard? Aren't we alternative? We want to do something different. Why do we want to be the same? I think that's a great point. Either you're an alternative lifestyle or you're not. An alternative means something different, out of the norm. Now, norm would be, heterosexual marriage. But you're not normal, as it were. You're an alternative. You're exploring an alternative. And thus, you're not in the general practice of the word normal or norm. Socio-norm. You can try all you want to, but it's not the socio-norm. Being gay is not the socio-norm. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying it's not the socio-norm. And if you're not going to be the socio-norm, why would you want to do something that is socio-normal? Especially after all, since you keep saying you're alternative. I would think that you'd want to come up with something different, something more exciting, something more flamboyant, something more acceptable for everybody involved. But no, I guess you guys just want to be treated normal, so I guess we can get rid of the old alternative lifestyle thing? Probably.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up. with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You know, one of the things that I really do dislike is when you try to go to certain websites and they have, all this advertising pop-up stuff. And I've noticed because on one of my machines, for whatever reason, I disabled the ad block feature. And if I go to the same site on on the other two machines that have the ad block feature connected and working, one, it loads up faster, and two, I don't see all of that ad crap getting in my way and popping up and keeping me from getting to the stories. And that's kind of interesting. You would think that these people would understand at some point that we don't like all those pop-up ads. We don't mind, certain ads sometimes because we fully understand that, that they have to pay for... They have to pay their bills and everything, but sometimes it's just a little overdone. I mean, you really have to think about it. I mean, look, there. If you go to my website, rodeccles.com, there are a few ads there. Yes, there are no pop-ups, at least none that we've put up on there. I haven't seen anybody. Any other pop-ups there, but we haven't put any pop-ups because that's annoying. One, it takes the page way too long to load for a lot of people, even if they have a so-called fast machine. Pop-ups tend to the code is one of the things I've noticed about Facebook is that now they've got their whole thing now is about advertising and getting you to look at or buy ads on Facebook. And so it's taken the whole site longer to load. Even on my fastest computer, it sits there and it takes, it can take a good 10, 15 seconds in order for it to load because the main content is being held up by ads. They want to give you all these metrics and everything about pages that you may own, or groups that you own or are responsible for. And it's annoying because it locks up everything else on the page until it gathers that information to spit out at you with the hope that you'll take their suggestion and buy an ad. That's just annoying. It really is. Because a lot of people, they get on and they want to, they want to be lickety split because they've got other things to do. They don't have a lot of time, and yet we have to wait for Facebook to load all the information so they can try to sell to us. It is what. Look, I don't. It's not. I have to put up with it because I don't own Facebook, but I don't have to put up with it when I am on my own site because I own it. So I won't put up with it, and I don't have to put up with it. So for those people who don't, just go over to rodeccles.com. You might find it a little bit easier. We don't have a social. There are private social companies out there. One is Ning, Ning.com. I think it's still around and still in business, but I remember Ning from quite a few years ago, and it was free to have your own private social network. Then they decided that they were going to charge people to do that, and I decided nope, my social network over there wasn't that large anyway, but it's still at the same point. There's too many ways to do it for free. Why would I want to be charged for it? But I don't know if there should probably do a quick thing to see if Ning is still around. Yeah, that's NING. They may have changed. They may have gone to someplace else, but who knows? No, actually, Ning is still around. Ning Media now. Good for them. But they have different pricing levels, and it's, whoa. Yeah, here it is. $25 a month, $49 a month, or $100 a month, depending on the number of members and administrators that you can get. And if you want more than 100,000 members, it's going to cost you more than $100 a month, and that's based on an annual billing. And you get 14-day free trial plan. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think 14 days is enough to build up a network to see if it's worthwhile. But hey, if you are looking for such a thing, Ning might be for you. Hey, people, there are Bernie Sanders is reporting that. There are people reporting that Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, independent from Vermont, is prepared to declare his Democratic bid for the presidency on this coming Thursday. Yes. Bernie Sanders, from Vermont, a registered independent who caucuses with the Democrats, will announce his candidacy for the 2016 Democratic presidential nomination on Thursday. Now, Sanders, who's even older than Hillary at 73, who was elected to his second Senate term in 2012, will announce his candidacy in a brief statement and then make a full announcement later. Now, this was announced by VPR News in Vermont. He served 16 years in the House. Now, the senator is expected to challenge former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who declared her candidacy earlier this month, of course, as we know, through a YouTube video. It was a soft opening. And she went on that Scooby-Doo van trail, or campaign trail out in Iowa. And then I guess the Scooby-Doo van actually came to New Hampshire. And then once she was done with her New Hampshire events, she flew first class back to New York, I do believe. Now, she has no reason to be in D.C. right now. She's not Secretary of State. She's not a senator. I don't know if they still have their D.C. home. They probably do. If you haven't seen the movie, I swear to you, and they say that, well, actually, I think they, what's his name? Not Timothy Robbins. I forget the actor who plays Frank Underwood in House of Cards on Netflix. But if you haven't watched it, I would highly suggest that you watch it, because you'll see a lot of, they base the characters in there a lot on a number of different former people in power, such as the Clintons. Well, he is more like Frank Underwood is more like Bill Clinton. However, Claire Underwood is nothing like Hillary Clinton. Her temperament, her grace, her beauty also is nothing like Hillary, but it's more like Laura Bush. And I do believe that they do reference different former administrations in the 3 seasons of this program. Now understand, this is not a biopic of the Clintons or anything like that, but there are some references there. There's some influence from previous administrations and previous people who occupied the White House, both male and female. And notice that a lot of people, when they recreate stuff for fiction, they don't really recreate a Hillary character too often, unless the Hillary character is more of a villain. But you kind of love to hate Frank, But you got to love Claire. And there's no way, people just don't love Hillary. I'm sorry, they don't. And Bernie, who hasn't a snowball's chance in hell, unless, of course, the other theory about hell is accurate. Okay, let me digress for a second. Have you ever heard the second theory of hell? Hades is not hot. Actually, the second theory of hell is that it's a frozen netherworld. Cold. You don't burn with fire. You burn with cold because, cold you can get frostbite. That's burning too, a different kind of burning, but you burn. And the theory is that cold is much more, people suffer more with cold than they do with burning. Okay. So therefore, the old saying, snowball's chance in hell, if hell were actually cold, well, then the snowball would actually last. That's the whole point behind that. But anyway, as we all understand hell to be, or Hades to be, it's hotter than you know what. And people actually burn by fire, not by cold. So he's got a snowball's chance in Hades in getting the Democratic nomination. And, of course, but by some fluke, he was the only one left. And he got the nomination because everybody else was dropped out or what have you, whatever happened. He was the only candidate left standing. Then he got the nomination. It would even be an even greater, a leap for him to be actually elected president. But yet and still, he doesn't think that Hillary's got the stuff, which is why he's going to enter the race. And he wants to be able to pull the Democrat Party even further to the left. Further to the left. Now, this guy served 16 years in the House, and he will have served, by his current term is up, he will have served 12 years in the Senate, putting him in office in Washington for 28 years. 28. Yeah, that's a career. Most people, they retire when they hit the 25 to 30 year mark in certain industries or businesses. If you're military, you probably retire at the 20 to 22 year mark. But this guy will have 28 years in, unless he runs for re-election. But 28 years in Washington, D.C. And this is one of the reasons why some people are kind of backing Rand Paul. Now, Rand Paul was in Louisville earlier this month, and a few days ago for his presidential campaign. He was there for his kickoff, too, and he delivered a thunderous pronouncement to cheering supporters. We limit the presidents to 2 terms. It's about time we limit the terms of Congress, what Paul said. Now, obviously, even though a majority of Americans are now on board with the idea of term limits for the House and the Senate, there is no rounding agreement on the number of terms, especially for the House, because the House is only 2 years. There are some people who say that 1 term in the Senate, it should be enough, and other people say that 2 terms, and even there are some that say 3 terms, and I think 2 terms, 12 years is plenty, but 18 years, really, as a senator? No. But some say that, the 2 terms max, 12 years in the Senate. In the House, it's a little bit more difficult because they're only there for 2 years. So some say that 2 terms there, well, that only puts them 4 years. And some are saying, well, okay, well, maybe we can give them the equivalency, the president, since, after all, the Speaker of the House is, third in line for the presidency, or second in line to the presidency. If something should happen to the president, it goes vice president, then the Speaker of the House. That maybe they should get 4 terms or 8 years total, like the president. And in any case, at least the discussion is that the majority of Americans, poll after poll, suggests that they do like the idea of term limits. Now, keep that in mind, as when this type of information or hit the U.S. Senate, the idea was quickly dismissed, and even dismissed by fellow Republicans. See, folks, they're not interested in representing you all the time. They're interested in retaining power. Now, up here, I think if you impose officially short-term limit restrictions, then you just empower the lobby and the staff, and it makes it less representative of the American people. So said Texas Senator John Cornyn. Well, that's a bunch of bunk, because, you get rid of the staff. If you got a new guy in office every 2 terms, or in the case of the House, every 4 terms, the lobby doesn't have time to get to sink their claws into them. And they're not going to spend a whole hell of a lot of time or money into somebody that they know that they cannot foster for a very long period of time, no matter even if they try to back them. Because, after 12 years in the Senate, if it's a 2-term limit, they're gone. They're going to have to turn their attention to somebody else. And after 8 limits in the House, they're gone. But I think what also needs to happen is that you need to limit these people from, because they tend to think that, I'll just be I'll be in the House, I'll be a representative for 4 or 8 years, and then I'll move over to the Senate. No, we've got to, have term limits that limit the amount of time that they can be on in any level of government. So in other words, because the House are 2 equals of the legislative branch, you can say, well, you can serve maybe we just need to put a number of years in. You can serve a total of 12 years in Congress, period. Doesn't matter where you do it. If you do it in the House, or if you do it in the Senate, or if you do it a combination, maybe 12 years is it. That's it. You're done. So you don't get to spend 8 years as a House of Representative and another 12 years in the Senate and then another 8 years in the White House. You can just, you got 12 years. And then you're going to have to go do something else. Maybe you have to run for president, and if you're good enough, then you'll get 4 or 8 years there. But you're not going to get 20 years in Congress anymore. I think that's probably the better type of term limit system. Is limit the total number of years you're allowed to serve. Because let's face it, this is a nation of 330 million people. You cannot possibly tell me that 535 people are the only 535 people who are qualified to run this country. Again, as I say time and time again, in this country, the start of this country, most of the founding fathers were political amateurs. They were not professional politicians in their day. They were amateurs. Amateurs started this country. They did a damn good job of doing it. So, over the past 100, 150 years, we've had professional politicians running everything. So the professional politician pretty much has screwed up everything. So now I just always say, well, now it's time to give the amateurs a shot, because we can't do any worse than the professionals have done. And indeed, the record for the amateur is better than the record of the professional. Now, I'm not saying that you have amateurs everywhere. Of course, you're going to need some people who know what they're, who have experience in their various fields of import, such as you want Joint Chiefs of Staff, you want military personnel up there that are experienced professional soldiers, military people. You might want a few professional international affairs people in your State Department. Yes, but the Secretary of State does not have to be a professional politician. Absolutely not. The president does not have to be a professional politician. That's why they have advisors. That's why because a president can't possibly know everything. The problem is when you get a president like our current one, who thinks that he knows more than everybody else and doesn't really pay attention to his advisors, and indeed often skips the meetings where, that his advisors will tell him and give him briefings about stuff, and then what he should, what he could possibly think about or do with the information. This president often skips that kind of stuff, so we're told. I don't know. I'd rather have an amateur who's paying attention than a professional who skips everything and thinks he knows it all. Plain and simple. That's not a difficult thing to envision as having a complete, because I know we hear it all the time. We need people who have experience to be president. They've got to have experience, don't you know? Well, not necessarily. Not as president. They should have some leadership experience. I agree. Look, all our founding father presidents, they were leaders in their community. They had leadership experience. And that's a good thing. Because, if you're going to be the leader of 230 million people, you should have some sort of leadership skills and experience under your belt in order to do it. I don't have a problem with that. That's not I guess you can call him a professional leader then, instead of a professional politician. Nothing wrong with that, because let's face it, it's not hypocritical to say that, there are some Republicans that don't have political experience, like Obama. But they may have leadership experience, unlike Obama. The man is not a leader. He's just a whiny crybaby, do what I say, do what I want, no matter what type of, spoiled brat. That's not leadership. And indeed, nobody in the world is following this guy. Do you realize that? Nobody in the world is following Obama's lead. Nobody. I mean, Obama's out there saying, well, hey, the world's on fire down there in the Middle East, but, hey, just do what I say. And you got people like, the new Saudi king saying, screw you. If you're not going to help us, if you're not going to lead it, we're just going to take this Yemen thing and Iran on ourselves. And if you're going to give them a weapon, we're probably going to have to end up teaming up with Israel to take out their nuclear reactors and such, just for our own self-preservation, because you're an a-hole with no leadership. We're not following you anywhere. So nobody in the world is following Obama. Look, you have to understand, I don't care if you're a liberal or if you're a conservative or somewhere in the middle, you cannot deny the fact that the world has pretty much shunned Obama. They've isolated the man. They don't give a damn what he says. That includes our allies. They tolerate this guy. Angela Merkel of Germany. You think she's following any direction of this? No. You think Great Britain, the Prime Minister, he's following Obama? No. If Obama comes up with an idea, he's like, okay, let's think about it. Well, it sounds like it. Well, you know what? We're going to keep all our assets under British control because we're not following you. You may come up with a decent idea, but we'll make it better, and we're still not going to follow you. And you got the countries in the Middle East that used to follow the U.S. and used to pay attention to the United States and used to care about what we thought about certain things in the Middle East, are now turning around giving us the finger, and they're supposed to be our allies. Hey, now Saudi Arabia, don't be hasty. They're giving a turn around. Yeah, screw you, Obama. We're gonna form our own coalition over here in the Middle East, in spite of you. And then, of course, you got our enemies, people that don't like us very much. You got Putin over there just laughing his you-know-what off at Obama. And then you got... nobody's following this guy. Nobody. So why should Americans follow him? I don't know, folks. But, out of time again. Good. Let's go so fast. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Have a great night and a great day. See you tomorrow.